White Rhino versus Hippo. Who wins? Alright folks, picture this. You're on an African safari, sipping your iced coffee, when suddenly boom. A white rhino stomps out of the brush like a living tank. A few seconds later, a 4,000-pound hippo waddles out of the watering hole, jaws wide open like it's auditioning for Jaws 5, Savannah Showdown. Now here's the million-dollar question. Who wins in a brawl between these two African titans? Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive hypothetical matchups in the animal kingdom, the white rhino versus the hippopotamus. Two heavyweight champions, no predators, no referees. Just pure raw power, thick skin, and bad attitudes. Now before we get too deep, let me just say I've had the pleasure of observing both these beasts in the wild. And trust me, when either one locks eyes with you, you suddenly remember every bad decision you've ever made in life. But here's the thing, this isn't just about size or who looks meaner, though let's be real. The hippo's death stare could make a lion think twice. No, this showdown is about strategy, weaponry, muscle, and mindset. Is the rhino's 2-foot horn and muscular neck enough to stop a hippo's 1,800 psi jaw from biting through steel like it's a candy bar? Can a land tank outmaneuver a water-loving beast built like a bulldozer with attitude? Well, buckle up because we're going horn to tusk, hoof to jaw, and ego to ego. Let's find out who's the true king of chaos when these two heavyweights collide. Let's talk about the white rhino, nature's bulldozer in disguise. Ah, the white rhino. If nature ever decided to build a tank and give it a heartbeat, this would be it. We're talking 4,500 to 5,000 pounds of pure muscle that's heavier than a Chevy Suburban and way more dangerous if it decides it doesn't like the look you're giving it. Now what really makes this beast stand out? Let's start with that thick, powerhouse upper body. The neck and shoulders on a white rhino look like they've been hitting the gym every day since the Ice Age, and it needs that muscle to handle its signature weapon, a horn that can grow up to feet long. That's like walking around with a built-in jousting lance, ready to deliver some serious attitude. And don't be fooled by their plant-based diet. Sure, rhinos are grazers, spending their days munching on grass like oversized lawnmowers, but when threatened, this gentle grazer turns into a full-on wrecking ball. They can flip a car like it's a shopping cart. I've seen footage of one tossing a buffalo like it was nothing more than a beanbag chair. Their skin is another story. It's thick, tough, and scarred from years of surviving the wild. Think of it like natural armor, perfect for absorbing bites, scratches, and the occasional headbutt from a territorial neighbor. On land, the rhino is surprisingly agile for its size. Thanks to its long legs and wide, sturdy feet, it can charge like a freight train and make it look graceful. I once saw one pivot on a dime to chase off a pack of hyenas. Let me tell you, those dogs didn't stick around to find out what would happen if they got caught. Now, here's the twist. White rhinos aren't naturally aggressive. They're the peacekeepers of the savannah. They'll usually choose to walk away unless they feel threatened or confused. And with their not-so-great eyesight, that confusion happens more often than you'd think. I like to call them the big softies with a short fuse. In my opinion, the white rhino is one of the most misunderstood heavyweights in the animal kingdom. Calm, cool, and collected until they're not. And when they decide to charge, well, you'd better be on the next flight out of the savannah. Alright, folks, let's talk about the hippo, the real heavyweight champ of the African waterways. Picture this, a massive beast weighing between 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, stretching up to 15 feet long, with a body built like a floating tank. Now, don't be fooled by their somewhat goofy appearance. Hippos are famously one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Seriously, these guys are the true badasses of the wild. Their jaws, oh man, they pack a bite force of 1,800 psi, that's enough to snap a small car in half. And get this, their mouth can open a jaw-dropping 150 degrees. Plus, those enormous tusks, sometimes reaching 1.5 feet long, are like built-in spears that can easily pierce through almost anything, including rival hippos or unlucky predators. Imagine facing off against that. Covered in nearly 2 inches of bulletproof-like skin, they're basically armored beasts. Hippos love the water, where their short legs and barrel-shaped bodies make them surprisingly agile swimmers. But on land, well, they're not winning any races. Their stubby legs and big round bodies don't make them the fastest movers on the block. Still, Never underestimate the fury of a hippo when it's riled up. Trust me, you do not want to get on its bad side. Weapons and tactics when heavy hitters throw down. Alright, let's talk about how these two African titans throw hands, or well, teeth and horns. First up, the hippo. This beast doesn't mess around. Its primary weapon, that jaw. And oh boy, what a jaw it is. A full-grown hippo can open its mouth wide enough to fit a beach ball and then crush it with 1,800 pounds of bite force. That's enough to snap a crocodile in half like a celery stick. I once saw a video of a hippo biting through a metal canoe. Not denting, biting through. That's nightmare fuel if you ask me. Its long, razor-sharp tusks, some stretching over a foot and a half, are less for eating and more for tearing anything that gets in the way. That's not a smile. That's a warning. Now switch over to Team Rhino. The White Rhino comes into battle with a different set of tools. Its signature move. The full-body charge, powered by a neck and shoulder combo that could bench press a pickup truck. At the end of that charge is a horn that's basically nature's spear, built to stab, slam, and shove whatever's unlucky enough to be in its way. Here's where it gets interesting. The Rhino has the range advantage. That horn jets out front and gives it the ability to strike before the hippo can even close the distance. Imagine a knight with a lance going up against a boxer. The hippo has to wade in close to land a bite, which means getting past a whole lot of pain first. From a tactical standpoint, if the fight happens on land, the rhino controls the distance, using its horn like a battering ram. But if the hippo can get in tight and clamp down with those monster jaws, the game could flip real quick. Personally, if I were a betting man, I'd say don't blink when these two face off. You'll either see a horn to the throat or a jaw to the ribcage. Either way, it's going to be wild. Who comes out on top? When it comes to a ground brawl, the White Rhino walks in with some serious advantages. It's got the size, the muscle, and the mobility. That horn isn't just for show either. It's in a perfect spot for charging, piercing, and keeping threats at bay. Picture a linebacker with a built-in spear. On dry land, this heavyweight has the tools to dominate. Now don't get me wrong, the hippo is no pushover. It's one of the most dangerous animals in Africa for a reason. If it catches the rhino off guard, especially with those bone-crushing jaws, things can go south fast. One well-placed bite could turn the tide in a heartbeat. But if you ask me, in a one-on-one clash on solid ground, I'm backing the rhino. It's not an easy win, not by a long shot, but with its powerful build, better reach, and strategic horn placement, the White Rhino has what it takes to muscle out a victory. Just don't expect it to walk away without a few dents in the armor. I've seen both of these giants in the wild, from a safe distance, of course. Trust me, when a hippo starts charging or a rhino starts snorting, you don't want front row seats. They may not breathe fire, but they sure bring the heat. Now, I'll admit, the hippo feels scarier. There's something about those massive jaws and that don't mess with me attitude that puts your instincts on high alert. But when it comes to actual fighting tools, the White Rhino has the better arsenal. It's stronger where it counts, quicker on land, and that horn is basically nature's battering ram. So who wins? In most face-offs, I'm putting my money on the rhino. It won't be easy, and it won't be pretty, but more often than not, the tank with a horn beats the beast with a bite. Now let's talk danger, not to each other, but to us. You might think lions or crocodiles top the list of Africa's most dangerous animals, but surprise, hippos take that title without breaking a sweat. These guys are aggressive, unpredictable, and fast. Yes, fast. Despite their chunky look, they can outrun a human in short bursts. People who think they can casually paddle near hippos in rivers often don't live to tell the tale. A charging hippo isn't something you can outswim or outprey, and rhinos, they're no teddy bears either. While they're usually more peaceful and shy away from conflict, if a rhino feels startled or cornered, get ready to run, and pray it doesn't charge. They've been known to flip vehicles and crush anything that stands in their path. And with poor eyesight, sometimes they mistake a tourist for a threat. Not great odds. I've been around both species in the wild, always with a good guide and even better escape plan. The rule: respect their space like your life depends on it. Because it does. So, let's answer the question that absolutely no one should be asking. Should you keep a white rhino or a hippo as a pet? Short answer, no. Long answer, definitely not. unless your backyard is the size of a national park and reinforced like a military base. These aren't overgrown puppies. A white rhino weighs more than a truck and can bulldoze through fences like they're tissue paper. Try walking it on a leash and your neighborhood will never be the same. As for hippos, forget it. They may look like giant squishy marshmallows with legs, but they have the temperament of a hangry bodybuilder. You can't train a hippo to sit, stay, or not bite your car in half. They're territorial, aggressive, and wildly unpredictable, and no, your swimming pool is not a suitable habitat. I've seen both in the wild, and trust me, these animals are breathtaking, from a very safe distance. Admire them at the zoo, support conservation efforts, watch documentaries all day long. But keep them as pets, that's not just a bad idea. That's how movies start, the kind that don't end well. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate how incredible both the white rhino and hippo are, and remember, they're both facing serious threats in the wild. Habitat loss and poaching have pushed these giants closer to danger. Supporting wildlife conservation efforts is key to making sure future generations get to witness their power and beauty in the wild. So if you love these amazing animals as much as I do, please consider supporting conservation groups and spreading awareness. Together, we can help protect these African legends. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this wild showdown between the white rhino and the hippo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more epic animal battles and wildlife insights. Also, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which animal matchup or nature topic you want to see next on the channel. Your ideas make this channel awesome, so let's keep the adventure going together.